from Newsweek, Kamala Harris dealt triple swing state polling blow in 1 week, which is odd because I was under the impression she was going to be the savior of the party, even though they probably shouldn't even need a savior because they're so amazing and they quote-unquote elected the most popular president ever in Beau Biden, and she naturally was incredibly unpopular in 2020, didn't even make it to the Iowa caucus, said he wasn't a racist, or I don't think you're racist, but...
I do not believe you are a racist, and I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country.
And now, magically, she is running for the presidency, and if she was so much better than Beau Biden, which she may or may not be, that's something you probably should have done at least a year ago. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because it helps me a lot and it will cost you nothing. But if you want to help me even more and spend some money, you can buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But they say, Vice President Kamala Harris lags behind former President Donald Trump in several recent polls taken in swing states. Harris launched her presidential campaign shortly after President Beau Biden announced he was withdrawing from the race on Sunday. And that chain of events, that timeline is absolutely insane. From the moment he announced, Trump that is, he was going to run for president, all the way up until when they took a shot at him, and then magically Beau Biden comes down with Rona and has to step aside, right? You can almost be sure that had he been hit, then Beau Biden wouldn't have dropped out. And for that matter, if Hillary Clinton would have won in 2016, we probably never would have dealt with Rona. Obviously, I can't prove that. Anyways.
Anyway.
Harris is not yet the official Democratic candidate for president, but a survey of delegates conducted by the Associated Press found that the vice president has enough support. However, 3 recent polls show that Trump continues to outperform Harris in several swing states, which will be pivotal to winning the election. The poll results come despite several big Democratic names putting their support behind Harris, including former President Barack Obama. I mean, even though George Clooney put his name behind Beau Biden, several weeks before he decided to drop out, of course, he penned an op-ed in the New York Times after the event telling Joe to drop out. And I don't know how George Clooney became such a powerhouse in the Democratic Party, but different story. Newsweek reached out to Harris and Trump's campaign by email for comment. Polling company Redfield and Wilton Strategies released their results from a recent poll of 6,927 swing state voters on Friday. The poll was conducted between July 22 and July 24, shortly after Biden dropped out of the race. Yeah, which, of course, was conveniently right after Donald Trump was hit by a bullet. Results show that Trump leads Harris in 7 of the 9 swing states polled, including Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Harris leads Trump 44-41 in Minnesota. The two candidates are tied at 44% in Wisconsin. And, this is really hard to believe, right? I mean, in a sane world, you could, sort of bet on the polling, but you can't now, especially in Wisconsin. I remember in 2020, I just happened to be in Wisconsin right before the election, and there was Trump signs all over the place. He was winning at like 10 p.m., and then when I woke up the next morning, of course he had lost. It was all very strange. Emerson College Polling / The Hill polled 5 swing states from July 22nd to July 23rd and found similar results. Harris trailed Trump in 4 states. So, I mean, I don't know. It seems like if they're willing to admit this, it's probably worse than what they're reporting. Kind of like London Breed, who admitted to committing $23,000 worth of ethics violations fines. But I digress. The polling also found that the two candidates were tied in Wisconsin at 47% each. And I just find that really hard to believe. I'm not a Wisconsin native. I've been there once or twice in my life, but it just doesn't seem like, they're tied. Clean and Prosperous America PAC surveyed voters in 4 battleground states from July 17th to July 20, before Biden announced his withdrawal. And you have to imagine, bro, they're like, all right, you're going to stay in this race and we're going to get rid of him for you. And then they failed. So he decided, I got to go. But again, if she's that much better, then they could have done it months ago, if not a year ago.
Harris made her first official campaign stop. And she did it with a delicious, and I mean delicious, dose of trolling Donald Trump and the Republicans.
She understands what her message is. She understands message discipline. And she's an extraordinary candidate on the trail.
Kamala Harris is unleashed. She's just brilliant.
I was blown away. I kind of fell in love with her. She was smart, engaging. She's funny, feisty, twinkle in your eye.
Kamala Harris has had the single best first day of any presidential candidate in history.
Yeah. Trump outperformed Biden in all 4 states, Arizona, Michigan, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, as well as Harris. However, when compared to prior polling, the Redfield and Wilton Strategy Survey found that Trump's lead over Harris in Arizona, Nevada, and North Carolina had narrowed when compared to his lead over Biden last week. Once again from Newsweek, Kamala Harris lands 5th polling win in 24 hours. So in one article, only several hours earlier, she has been dealt a triple swing state polling blow in just a week. But then she lands her 5th polling win in 24 hours. How are we supposed to square this? This is kind of like the border czar thing. Yeah, there's no official title called border czar, but the news, the mainstream media was widely reporting that. And so in this article, when she lands her 5th polling win, they say Vice President Kamala Harris has scored her 5th polling win in 24 hours. So she lost several swing states in 1 week, but in 24 hours, she wins 5 polls. And I guess this isn't just about swing states. It's just about, it's not about swing states alone. It's about polling everywhere. So narrowing former President Donald Trump's lead with just over 100 days left until the election. And here we go. They're going to pretend that they are coming back, and they are so amazing that they stand a chance. And my fear, of course, is the Democrats, the establishment, the regime is going to say, we're so amazing. Everybody loves us. And we heard the calls from social media to get rid of Beau Biden, even though the voters elected him as the nominee. But that doesn't matter. We got to get rid of him. And now this lady that we've put in is so popular that obviously she's going to beat Orange Man. A poll released on Friday by the Wall Street Journal found that Harris had all but eliminated Trump's lead, with the vice president trailing the former president by 49 to 47% margin, 44 to 47% margin in a head-to-head matchup. The poll has a 3.1% margin of error. When independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy is included, the poll found that Harris overtakes Trump and has a slight lead. And I believe RFK has said that he is pulling more votes from Trump, even though a short time ago he was pulling more votes from Biden. So maybe there is some strategy here, but it really doesn't matter. Because if she was that much better, then she would have been the nominee. They would have switched him out a long time ago. This is absolutely despicable. President Joe Biden, who dropped out of the race, endorsed Harris on July 21st, was losing to Trump by 6-point margins in both head-to-head and multi-candidate versions of the Wall Street Journal poll taken earlier this month. While early polling suggests that a Trump-Harris contest will likely be close, which I just don't believe that to be true, right? So it's been so amazing from 2020 to 2024 that the lady who was supposed to be, I guess now she's not the border czar, but she has let that all collapse on purpose. But when she pulled less, when she lost to Pete Buttigieg, and now she's the most popular and she's better than Biden how is this possible? The vice president has amassed mostly small but significant gains in at least 4 other polls of battleground states and young voters on Thursday and Friday. This is absolutely ridiculous. Dan Lamb, a senior lecturer at the Brooks School of Public Policy at Cornell University, told Newsweek Harris won the week with strong speeches, viral social media, and important endorsements, predicting that her polling position may improve further in the near future. Yeah, look, obviously they're going to throw that out there. I mean, it's a kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And now, clearly, they're not going to say, well, we just switched this candidate for this new lady, and she's doing terrible. So they're going to pretend that she's amazing. But I just don't believe that to be the case. So look, it doesn't matter. They're going to spend all this time gaslighting you on how amazing she is. And she's won 5 recent polls, but the very same news outlet, Newsweek, quote unquote, Newsweek, says that she has been dealt a triple swing state polling blow 22 hours ago. This is late July. But then 18 hours ago, only a handful of hours later, she lands her 5th polling win in 24 hours. And look, you can nitpick about whether or not this is swing state polling or regular polling and how popular she is, but I just don't think this is true. It's not going to happen.
That is so fetch. Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
But of course, I didn't think Beau Biden had a chance in 2020, which he really didn't, and I stand by that. But of course, a black swan event made it possible for them to blanket the entire country with mail-in ballots, all of which were, humbly dropped in a mailbox between burning down Wendy's.